In the dim glow of the moonlight, the old Victorian mansion stood like a forgotten sentinel on the outskirts of town. Its windows were shattered, and its once grand facade was now a haunting reminder of its former glory. Locals whispered that the mansion was cursed, a place where the veil between the living and the dead was thin. A group of adventurous teenagers, fueled by curiosity and a hint of recklessness, decided to spend the night in the mansion. As they stepped through the creaking doorway, an eerie chill settled in the air. The floorboards groaned beneath their feet, and the faint scent of decay lingered. As the night deepened, strange sounds echoed through the halls, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. Despite their bravado, unease crept into the hearts of the teenagers. They huddled together, their flashlights flickering like fireflies in the inky darkness. One by one, they began to see fleeting shadows out of the corners of their eyes, figures that disappeared when they turned to look. A cold hand brushed against one girl's neck, sending shivers down her spine. A mournful wail echoed through the mansion, chilling their very souls. In a desperate attempt to escape, they raced towards the front door, but it slammed shut before their eyes. Panic set in as they realized they were trapped, at the mercy of the malevolent presence that had awakened within the mansion's walls. As the night wore on, the ghostly apparitions grew bolder, their hollow eyes fixated on the terrified teenagers. They were surrounded, their breath visible in the frigid air. The temperature plummeted, and the air grew heavy with an otherworldly energy. With a final, piercing scream, the mansion seemed to come alive with a malevolent force. The walls seemed to close in, and the teenagers felt as though they were being suffocated by an unseen grip. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the mansion fell silent. When the morning sun finally rose, the mansion stood empty once more, its secrets forever locked within its decaying walls. The teenagers were never seen again, leaving behind only whispers of their nightmarish encounter with the vengeful spirits that called the mansion home.
Story 2. In the heart of the dimly lit forest, an eerie mist began to gather as night fell. It was said that a malevolent spirit haunted these woods, a vengeful entity known as the Ghostly High. Its origins were shrouded in mystery, a tale whispered only by those daring enough to wreath chilling story. Legend had it that a young girl, Eliza, had vanished in the forest decades ago. Her anguished spirit, fueled by betrayal and pain, had transformed into the vengeful Ghostly Eye. The forest had become her eternal prison, and she sought revenge on anyone who dared to tread in her domain. One moonless night, a group of friends went to test the legend. Despite the warnings of the villagers, they ventured into the forest armed with flashlights and skepticism. As they delved deeper into the woods, the air plummeted, and an unsettling feeling settled upon them. Branches creaked eerily and shadows danced in the corners of their vision. Suddenly, a whisper carried on the wind, a faint voice calling their names. Heartbeats quickened, and the group exchanged nervous glances. It was then that they saw her, a spectral figure with hollow eyes and a tattered dress, standing amidst the trees. Frozen with fear, they watched as the ghostly hide slowly advanced, her gaze fixed on them. Panic seized their hearts, and they fled in every direction, desperate to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirit. But no matter where they turned, the forest seemed to twist and turn, leading them back to the Ghostly High. One by one, the friends were ensnared by her chilling grip. They felt icy fingers on their shoulders, whispers in their ears, and the sensation of being watched from every angle. Their screams echoed through the woods, blending with the mournful wails of the ghostly hide. In the end, only one managed to break free from ghostly grasp. Terrified and traumatized, he stumbled out of the forest, forever haunted by the memory of his friends' anguished faces. The villagers, upon hearing his tale, nodded solemnly. They had always known the legend existed. The forest remained a place of dread, a chilling reminder of the Scarigist's vengeance. No one dared to venture into its depths after dark, for the malevolent spirit still prowled there, seeking those who disregarded the warnings. And so the legend persisted, a cautionary tale, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones. The Scarigist remained an embodiment of fear, a reminder that some stories were better left untold, and some places were better left unexplored. In the forgotten corners of a dilapidated luxury house, an eerie presence lingered, casting an unshakable pall over anyone who dared to cross its threshold. It was whispered among the locals that the place was haunted by a vengeful spirit, a specter cursed to roam the earth after a life of unspeakable cruelty. One stormy night, a group of curious teenagers gathered around a crackling fire, daring each other to spend the night in the mansion and prove their courage. Among them was Sarah, a skeptic who dismissed stories as mere folklore. The wind howled outside as they ventured into the decrepit mansion, their flashlights piercing the darkness. As the night wore on, strange occurrences began to unfold. Muffled whispers echoed through the corridors, and flickering shadows danced on the walls. Despite her bravado, unease gnawed at Sarahat. The group huddled together, nervously exchanging glances. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept throughout the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Heartbeats thundered in the darkness as a faint glow emerged at the far end of the hallway. A figure materialized, its hollow eyes fixed upon them. Panic gripped the group as they realized the horrifying truth. The spirit was real. The ghostly figure drifted closer, emanating a bone-chilling aura that froze the teens in their tracks. Its distorted features twisted into a malevolent grin, and it began to whisper in a voice that seemed to crawl beneath their skin. Their terror grew as the spirit recounted their darkest secrets. Secrets they had never shared with one another. Sarah's skepticism crumbled in the face of the spectral revelation. The mansion's history unfolded before them. The spirit had once been a wealthy landowner who delighted in tormenting and exploiting those less fortunate. Now, trapped between worlds, it sought to inflict the same suffering it had once reveled in. Desperation turned to courage as the group resolved to confront the vengeful spirit. Armed with newfound knowledge and a burning determination, they stood their ground. With every ounce of strength, they revealed their own vulnerabilities and pleaded for forgiveness, promising to break the cycle of cruelty. A tense silence settled over the mansion. The ghost wavered, its form flickering as if struggling to hold on. Slowly, the malevolent grin faded, replaced by an expression of torment and regret. The room brightened as the spirit dissipated, leaving only a lingering sense of sorrow in its wake. As dawn broke and the storm subsided, the teens emerged from the mansion, forever changed by their nightmarish encounter. The curse that had bound the vengeful spirit was broken, and the mansion seemed to sigh with relief, its haunted legacy finally put to rest. Whispers of the mansion's tale faded over time, but its lessons endured. The consequences of cruelty, the power of redemption, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of the unknown.